Hello and welcome to another Spectrum Geeks video. My name is Dale, and in today's video we're talking about my chickens, specifically a new chicken run. So we've had the omelette chicken run since we got the chickens. I think it must have been a couple of years ago, but decided to increase the space that the chickens have by installing this additional chicken run just here. So in this video we're going to unbox it, time lapse of putting it together, talk about any little bits and bobs that's kind of worth paying attention to, and then finish up with let you know what I think about it and if it's worth the money. So it's probably going to rain, but I thought I'd show you kind of what you get in terms of packages and kind of the install process, and then kind of my final thoughts on how it compares to the omelette walk-in run. Now I ordered the 3 meters by 2.5 meters, and as you can see it comes in two boxes. Reasonable weight to them. One is 20 kilograms and the other one is 17 kilograms. I'm going to try and set this up on my own, and I'll probably get someone to help move it into place. So that's one thing about this, it's relatively lightweight, so two people should be able to move it around. Again, if it's a walking run that you want to move around your garden, that should be fine. I'm going to connect ours up next to the omelette run. So let me grab some opening things, open the boxes up and show you what's inside. Okay, so that's everything unboxed. Box 2 is the one that has the instructions in, but so far everything looks really well labelled. So they reckon around an hour and a half to build this with two people. I am going to time myself, and hopefully what I do is I do a time lapse of me building it. If there's any bits that are kind of a bit awkward or complicated, I'll cover that off at the end and kind of show you kind of any little weird nuances. But let's put it together. It recommends a spanner, wire cutters or scissors, and an optional drill. So what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of message down over here, let you know what size spanner or socket or whatever it is you're going to need, so you can get your bits and bobs all prepped. I'm pretty sure it's about to lash it down, because that is the way here in the UK when you want to do outside things. Let me see if I can start a time lapse and we'll see how you get on. Okay, so I'm interrupting the time lapse because I realised two things. One, you can't quite see the top, and that's a little bit tricky. I can kind of give you an update on a couple of other bits, but also I have run into a snag. So first off, I'll show you the top. So when you come to do these H brackets, just trying to see if I can get here, the sun is all over the place. There's a bolt that goes all the way through here into a nut, and then you kind of put a fixing self-tapper into the top of there. I'm going to leave that till the end to make sure that it's kind of all aligned, and obviously make sure when you do that centerpiece that it is kind of in the center. I didn't measure it, I just eyeballed it. And then the other thing, I have to just flip the camera around. When you're doing these end pieces just here, there's holes on this side and there's holes on that side. So just make sure you use the holes that are pointing outwards, and that's because when you come to put these brackets on here, they're only going to go on that way. So if you put it around the other way, these sections here will be here, and obviously there's no hole. So the problem I've run into is you have to use these H brackets, which are these things here, to connect some of the equipment together. And this one here, D2, so if we just confirm on the instructions, we've got D2 going across the top using the H bracket into D7. There's D7, here's D2, but the problem we have, it's pretty easy to see on the bottom, is when the holes line up, which I'm struggling to show you here, but when the holes line up like they are here, this protrudes too much into the bracket, so you can see it protrudes a little bit, which then means that's not going to go over. So I've double checked, there's no other bracket, this is definitely the bracket to be using, so I'm going to have to mark it and cut that bit off, which is a bit of a faff. But there we are, we're 50 minutes in, which I think isn't too bad. Again, this door is taking me longer than I would like, but find my grinder, grind that off, and then hopefully we'll be back in action. But a little bit annoying that you have to do that, so I will take a picture so I can send some feedback to the manufacturer. But let me grind it off. I should have to get the door finished, and then I'll resume the time lapse, get the centre on, and then the challenging bit will be throwing over the mesh and tying all that down as well. Also, this kit that I've got does come with a rain cover. Apparently sometimes that's extra, but currently as part of this deal it was included, so just something to note there. Apologies for the abrupt ending of that time lapse. A storm arrived yesterday, got very wet, got very windy, camera got blown over, and now it's another day. So as you can see, kind of, I have moved it, so it is definitely quite easily possible with two people to kind of lift up and move around. I haven't yet put it into its final position. I wanted to show you kind of what things look like. So we've got all the mesh on and the cover. Now, in terms of timing, it took me just under 2 hours on my own to make the whole frame, but then quite a few hours more to put the mesh on and all the cable ties. So if you had two people, you probably could build the frame probably within that hour and a half time frame, but I definitely think it takes longer. Just all the cable tying and everything just took a while, and I had to use some additional cable ties as well because we ran out of the provided ones. But let me just show you a few things to kind of be aware of. I'll get this dragged into position and then give you my thoughts. Okay, so a few things. When it comes to putting in these self-tapping screws, you need something really with a bit of power. So I had a little ratchet driver I used that's electric to power those in. I recommend that or a drill. You're going to be really hard pushed to do that manually by hand, and as you can see here, I could probably do with adding more cable ties really. So I'm going to get some more cable ties to make sure nothing can get over or under things. When it comes to the door latches, again, you just got to do a little bit of finagling to make sure that they open and close well. So I've just cut a little bit of a hole around here, and then I think I'm going to get some tape or something to tape this in so it kind of fits in a bit neater, or perhaps bend them out a little bit. So I've done that for both of them. And then again, just going around putting all of these things in took quite a lot of time, and then you can see just extra kind of cable ties everywhere. If you pop inside, in terms of how the bungee cords are on, so they just go on some bungees, you tie them in, it's quite straightforward. And then anywhere I've got the overlapping bits of mesh, I've just done little cable ties to hold it all in. So cable tie there, and just done that all the way around in all of the different bits, especially here at the back where kind of things overlap. I've done cable ties along here, but then also kind of in the middle and down the bottom as well. And then same again for across the ground, cable ties everywhere, and obviously then when you pin it down it should be relatively secure. So I've actually got some rubber matting that I use in the existing coupe that I've bought to put down in here. Obviously the main thing with this is even when you try and get it somewhat rigid, things do flop down a little bit. But again, fine for chickens unless you've got very tall chickens, but it's going to kind of flap around a little bit, and we'll see kind of how things go. They do recommend that you remove the cover in windy conditions. I'm crossing my fingers and obviously relieve myself of warranty. Unless the storms get really bad, I think we should be fine. Similar with the omelette, they recommend taking the covers off, but we're quite shielded by the bushes and things you can see here when the wind comes across, so it hasn't been a problem. But let me get this dragged over, and obviously specific for what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a hole in there, cut a hole in the omelette. I've got the omelette kind of door that opens up that's meant for that purposes, to then join these two together, and we'll see. But initial thoughts are, yes, it's considerably cheaper than the omelette, and seems to be a really good run. Doesn't feel as secure or robust as the omelette one, but again, it's probably like a third of the cost, maybe a little bit more. So definitely worth considering. Again, either as your only chicken run, or in addition, so you have already like we have. So let me get it moved into position, put the matting down, and then I'll give you a final look round. So it's been about a week again, I think, since the last kind of check-in on this video build. The rain just kept on coming last weekend, so never got it finished, but now it's in position. We kind of cable tied and clipped everything together. I don't know if you can see, chickens got introduced to it today, so 3 of them are in there. So just thought I'd share some of my thoughts on what I think about it, if it's something worth considering. So first of all, definitely something worth considering. I think in terms of value for money, like I said, it's about a third ish of the price of the omelette. Not as good, but overall construction is pretty solid. The main thing that lets it down is the meshing. There's not too much you can do about that. So let me flip the camera around. I'll show you kind of how things have finished up. So we did have a bit of a skirt that was set down here. So not sure if you can see, a bit of mesh that's left over, and we kind of put it sticking out probably about a foot on the outside and a foot on the inside and underneath the matting. And then because this ground is uneven, what we've done is just rolled up some more of the mesh and put it under there. And again, haven't finished setting things up for the chickens yet, but have got some dry mat in there, and basically did that and a little bit overhang on all the sides, so that minimise the chances of foxes and other things getting in. If you can see just through there, got the little door from omelette to get from one side to the other, so they can do that. And then we put the waterproof covering over the top, so just hook that on there. And I think, as I mentioned before, they recommend you remove it in the wind, but I found, because it's somewhat kind of covered with the trees and the bushing, it actually fares pretty well in the wind. So we just kind of left things like this, and it's working pretty good. A couple of little things that are tricky that I'm going to get some tape on. So where the door kind of connects, where the latch is, it kind of makes it a little bit difficult to open and close it. So I'm going to put some kind of duct tape or something round. It's basically where the mesh catches on the latch, causes a bit of a problem. But again, just lots of cable ties everywhere to do as much as we can and keep things secure. So this video didn't go as I planned, but hopefully it's been somewhat helpful and somewhat insightful if you are thinking about getting one of these chicken runs for your chickens. It's a good big open space, so even if you had a few chickens, this was the main run, definitely good. Obviously for us it pretty much doubles up the space, gives the chickens a little bit more room to roam around, because we've got a large garden. We have foxes, we have hawks and buzzards and other things that would have probably snuck down and get it, so them having some more room makes it better for them and a bit more peace of mind for us. So yep, I'd recommend it. Again, I put a link in the description where I got it to. Obviously this isn't affiliated or anything, just sharing with you because I couldn't find any reviews on this stuff before I bought mine. So just take time, like it says in the instructions, really take your time, overlap the meshes as much as you can, and it should be somewhat animal proof. But obviously we'll check it. If anything changes, I'll put a comment down and pin it to say if we've had any issues, because touch wood, we've had no issues with the omelette stuff at all in terms of foxes trying to get in or anything. So even though the foxes, they come right up and wander around, but don't try to dig or gain access to anything. So we'll see what happens with this. But thanks very much for watching. If you have liked it, please do consider subscribing if you haven't done already, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. So take care of yourself and goodbye for now.